All right, welcome to another episode of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. I am Robert Lentini, and we're going to be going over the December 20th episode of WWE SmackDown. This was in Hartford, Connecticut, taped last week after SmackDown. So just to give the wrestlers a break on the holidays, I totally get it, but I just hate these tape shows. You could tell that this show was not live all throughout. The commercial breaks, especially in the first 45 minutes, were insane. During that six-man tag team match that opened the show, was just 3 minutes of action, commercial break, 3 minutes of action, backstage bullshit, commercial break. They dragged that six-man tag team match out for the first. It was probably a 10-minute match. They made it last 25 on television. It was ridiculous. But other than that, it was a pretty damn good show. And we'll go over it segment by segment, starting with the opening promo. The Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu came to the ring. That's it for the Bloodline. They're down two members. Bronson Reed broke his ankle jumping off the cage during the Survivor Series War Games match. That was such an insane spot. If you watch that back, CM Punk pulled Roman Reigns out of the way just at the last second. If Reed would have landed on Reigns, it would have been a disaster. Even worse than him breaking his ankle. Best of luck. Get well soon to Bronson Reed. They look like they had big plans for him. So hopefully he can get back soon, but I think he's going to be out for a long time. And Tonga Loa suffered a torn triceps during the same match, so he's out. So it's just Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga. That's the Bloodline right now. Solo Sikoa is talking about his tribal combat match against Roman Reigns on the debut episode on Netflix on January 6, 2025. That card is loaded. We got Seth Rollins and CM Punk on that too. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. I cannot wait for that show. But Solo Sikoa is hyping that match, saying that he's wearing the Ulafala, and that Reigns, he will not be taking it back. So Sikoa added that Reigns should leave his version of the Bloodline behind. He'll leave his Bloodline behind, just a one-on-one match. And he's walking in and walking out as the tribal chief on January 6th. And he's still going to be the head of the table. Finished his promo by saying if you will beat Roman Reigns' ass on January 6th and send him back to the island of irrelevancy. Then Drew McIntyre interrupted. A lot of people have been saying that Drew McIntyre is going to be figured into this tribal combat match, and it seems more likely now. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but he came to the ring. He said, it makes him sick standing across the ring from Solo Sikoa and not beating him within an inch of his life. He noted that Sikoa cost him the undisputed WWE Championship at Clash at the Castle 2022. Still pissed about that. It was the right decision in hindsight because Reigns' reign was historic, but I'm still angry about that. That was one of the worst moments of 2022 in WWE. Just Solo Sikoa making his main roster debut in that hooded sweatshirt and hitting the Samoan spike. That sucked. But McIntyre's like, but to be fair, you're the only one of the original Bloodline that stood up to Roman Reigns. The Usos, Sami Zayn all came, went crawling back to Reigns. At least you had the balls to stand up to him, and I can respect you for that. So McIntyre said, I'm going to be taking out Sami Zayn, the Usos, Roman Reigns, whoever is on my hit list. You can take out Roman Reigns for good at Netflix, and then after that, me and you can handle our business. Because McIntyre is just making it known that he still hates Sikoa, but he respects him for having the balls to stand up to Reigns. Sikoa said, I actually enjoyed what you did to Jimmy Uso last week, but I don't appreciate you interrupting me. But he agreed with the sentiments. They're on the same page here, McIntyre and Sikoa, so I'm assuming McIntyre is getting involved in that Netflix match. But Jimmy Uso got his revenge from being attacked by McIntyre last week. He showed up with a crutch, just beat the shit out of McIntyre with a crutch, hit him several times. The thud just echoed through the arena. And LA Knight, Andrade, and Apollo Crews made their way to the ring. They're having that six-man tag team match against Solo Sikoa's version of the Bloodline. They brawled before the commercial break. Apollo Crews just sticks out like a sore thumb in this storyline. He just feels like he does not belong with Andrade and LA Knight. That's not, I guess it is shade on Apollo Crews, but I waited for like a decade for that guy to put it all together, and it never happened. Now he's just in this storyline. I thought he was, in NXT or whatever. I don't know what. he just feels out of place, but he's in this storyline to take pinfalls, I guess, because Solo Sikoa wound up hitting him with a Samoan spike to win this match. Shinsuke Nakamura, the new United States champion, attacked LA Knight ringside during this match, so they're continuing that feud, which I'm happy to see, because I didn't agree with Shinsuke Nakamura winning the U.S. title. I would have no problem with him being the United States champion. I just wanted them to extend that rivalry and maybe turn LA Knight heel in the process, but they're fully invested in the Shinsuke Nakamura heel turn. He's a very interesting, the way they're presenting him now. I like it a lot, and I'm happy they're continuing that rivalry with LA Knight. But overall, this was this 6-man tag team match. I'm not going to go over it that much because there was nothing of note. It just went on too long, and just not because of the match itself, because they broke it up with like 3 commercial breaks to just extend it because it's a taped show and they can do that. I hate it. I just hate it because it was ridiculous. But now moving on to something I really liked during this show was Kevin Owens' promo. He wasn't in person. It was a vignette. He said that Cody Rhodes, the referee, Nick Aldis, and WWE management were all to blame for what he did to Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. If you didn't see it, it happened after the show. Cody Rhodes defeated Kevin Owens to retain the undisputed WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event. But after the match, Rhodes was going to address the crowd, but Owens attacked from behind, hit him with a package pile driver. He was taken out of the arena in an ambulance. Triple H confronted Kevin Owens on the entrance ramp. Kevin Owens earlier this week at WWE headquarters invaded the building while they're promoting Raw's debut on Netflix. He stole the Winged Eagle title, put a poster of his own face over Cody Rhodes before he's kicked out. I'm just really invested in this storyline. No mention of Randy Orton tonight either. Still don't know when he's going to return, but he has to play a major factor in this. No Cody Rhodes on tonight's show. He made a public appearance. I don't know where, but I'll post that picture. He's wearing a neck brace, so he's selling the injury. That was great. But he wasn't on tonight's show, as he shouldn't have been, because Randy Orton hasn't returned since he was attacked last month. It would be ridiculous for Cody Rhodes to be on tonight's show. So I'm glad that he wasn't. But during Kevin Owens' promo, he said that everybody was to blame, essentially, besides himself. He just took no accountability for brutalizing Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. He said he was screwed out of winning the undisputed WWE title because he hit a stunner during the match, but Charles Robinson was inadvertently taken out. Eddie Orengo rushes the ring, walks right into a Cody cutter by accident. Kevin Owens tries to bring a steel chair into the ring. It backfires. Cody Rhodes hits a crossroads on top of the chair and cheats to win. But again, Kevin Owens brought it into the ring. But I'll never forget Jesse Ventura just flipping out. But who actually used the chair, though? They should have him back because he was just totally brutally honest. Calling out Cody Rhodes for using the chair was great. But Owens said he took the wing title and he's not giving it back until he gets what he wants, assuming that's another match against Rhodes. Owens says you can only push a man so much before he snapped, and he added that he hasn't snapped yet. And it's going to get much worse if that happens. And if it does happen, it's on WWE officials, WWE management, Cody Rhodes, everyone else besides himself. So I love this character storyline for Kevin Owens. This heel turn has been great. He's so much better as a heel than a babyface, and he's just showing off what he can do. And then that was followed up, but I thought was the worst segment of the night. Braun Strowman was on the Grayson Waller effect with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under. Austin Theory has just been wasting away in this team. I was initially in favor of pairing Austin Theory with Grayson Waller because I thought maybe Theory could learn how to cut a promo from Waller because that's Waller's only strength. But this whole segment, Waller was stumbling all over himself, and this was a tape show. This is the best edit they put out there, and it still sucked ass. It was awful. Just this whole thing. But Waller's trying to get Braun Strowman to join them in the Ultimate Alliance. Braun Strowman and A-Town Down Under, the brain and the brawn. He just kept saying that. It wasn't funny. It sucked. And Theory's just standing there. He had one line during this. It has not benefited Austin Theory at all to be with Grayson Waller. They won the WWE tag titles at WrestleMania, had one of the most forgettable title reigns I've ever seen, and now they're still together for no reason. In the time to break them up, they were teasing that months ago. It would have been months ago. It was the time to break them up. Now, who gives a shit? if they break them up and have an Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller feud, when they inevitably end this tag team, this duo that sucks, when they inevitably make that decision that has been needed to be made for a long ass time to break them up. Who's going to care about Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller? Maybe they'll have a great storyline planned, but I don't care about Grayson Waller and Austin Theory recruiting Braun Strowman. It didn't work out. He denied their requests, and then Carmelo Hayes interrupted. He lost to Braun Strowman last week. They teased Hayes versus a mystery star, a new SmackDown star. It was Braun Strowman using this transfer window. He's now officially on SmackDown, so he's not a part of the Raw roster for Netflix. He's on SmackDown. Carmelo Hayes interrupts that he wasn't ready and it wasn't fair. He wasn't ready to face Braun Strowman last week, and he wanted another match. Oh, I also should mention that Braun Strowman was in a Santa outfit. That's I should not overlook that. That needs to be pointed out. That was the best part of this, is that Braun Strowman was Braun Santa Claus. That was the best part. But Hayes said he wanted another match, called Braun Strowman a bitch. Strowman accepted, started throwing the fake trees that were on the set of the Waller Effect at Hayes. Jessica Carr, the referee's yelling at him to stop. So they have this match back and forth. Carmelo Hayes steals the win via countout. And then backstage, Braun Strowman's chasing him around, and he gets in another attack. So Carmelo Hayes has the upper hand in this rivalry after Strowman defeated him last week. They're tied 1-1. And if they're doing a series again with Carmelo Hayes, Carmelo Hayes' run on the main roster has been disappointing to me so far. He's the first pick of SmackDown in the WWE draft. He lost to Cody Rhodes in his first match. He lost to Cody Rhodes like a month ago. And now he's, in a rivalry, 50-50 rivalry with Braun Strowman that I don't know where it's going for Carmelo Hayes, but he should win this rivalry. But I don't know. I think they think Braun Strowman's a bigger star than I think he is. And they're going to give Strowman this victory again in this rivalry and have him win the rubber match. I don't know. I don't really care about Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Strowman. I want bigger things for Carmelo Hayes, and I feel like he's been running in place for a few months now. Candice LeRae and Nia Jax are backstage. They're talking, preparing for their WWE Women's Tag Team title match against Bianca Belair and Naomi. Jade Cargill still nowhere to be found after that attack last month. No leads. Nobody has any idea who attacked her. They're just stalled in this investigation. We'll figure it out eventually. They have Nia Jax and Candice LeRae are preparing for the match. Tiffany Stratton shows up, and they both belittle her. Just like, why don't we're trying to figure out, how to win titles here. No, that's something that you don't do. Maybe you can plan a big party for us after. Just totally talking down to her. I was thinking that the cash-in might happen tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't. But it's coming soon. It definitely is. But moving on from that, it's Johnny Gargano, DIY's Johnny Gargano versus Motor City Machine Guns Alex Shelley in a singles match. Shelley cut a promo before this, say he's going to teach Gargano a lesson again. He didn't want Sabin ringside. Johnny Gargano came to the ring alone, but Ciampa eventually showed up and interfered. Chris Sabin rushed the ring, attacked Ciampa. They brawled outside the ring. Gargano got hit with a crossbody by Shelley, but he rolled through and rolled up Shelley while grabbing the tights, so cheating to win. But he escaped with a pinfall victory here. This match didn't do anything for me. The only thing I will say is DIY has a new theme again. It's nothing great. It's very generic, but it is so much better than the We Are, whatever their last theme was called. We Are, I think is the name of the song. That was one of the worst themes I've ever heard. It sounded like a terrible 2000s shitty rock band, like a poor version of Good Charlotte, if that could exist. That's what the DIY's last theme sounded like, so I'm glad that they have a new one. It's basically just a cool guitar riff over and over. It sounds a hell of a lot better than what they had last, and it fits them as heels. Finally, we get to the main event. Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Before the match, they had an interview, Naomi and Belair backstage. Belair said that she was not going down without a fight and didn't want to relinquish the titles, and was happy that Naomi stepped up for her. Naomi said that she was going to win tonight and make sure that she does everything she could in her ability to help the team retain the titles. And that's what happened. I was expecting some kind of swerve here, but I didn't. I don't read the spoilers. Even, I just avoided them all week. I was hoping for something more interesting that happened tonight, but it wasn't the case. Nia Jax and Candice LeRae dominated the first 10 minutes of this match, isolated Bianca Belair in the ring. Eventually, Naomi was able to tag in. She battled back. Belair got back in the action. She had an awesome 450 splash. Tiffany Stratton came down to the ring. She made it seem like she was going to interfere and give Nia Jax the Money in the Bank briefcase, but they were stalling and arguing with each other, and she finally gave it to Jax, but then the referee caught it, and that was that. Bianca Belair knocked Jax off the ring apron with a flipping drop kick thing to the face, and then hit a cross body on Jax outside the ring. Jax was busted open too, bleeding profusely from her forehead. Must have been some kind of botch during this match that I missed, or she hit something and busted her head open. It was her whole forehead was red at one moment, and then when they cut back to her at the end of the show, it looked like she wasn't bleeding, so maybe she got glued right next to the ring. But in the end, Naomi hit a split-legged moonsault on Candice LeRae to retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. Again, this match was fine, but I was just hoping for something to, it was just a standard tag title match with Naomi serving as Jade Cargill's replacement. No update on who attacked Jade Cargill. I still think it was Bianca Belair at this point. I don't know why she would eliminate herself from the Women's United States Championship tournament, though, and why? Because that attack happened during her triple threat match last month, and she was looking at the Jumbotron and rushed backstage, and that allowed Chelsea Green to advance. So I don't know who attacked Jade Cargill. Hopefully WWE does, and they have some kind of interesting storyline planned soon, because I want to know what the hell happened to Jade Cargill, why there have been no updates. Bianca Belair doesn't really seem all that invested in finding out who did it, so I'm assuming it's her. Maybe it's Naomi. Could still be Bayley because she replaced her in the Women's War Games match. A lot of options, but not a lot of interesting ones right at the moment, besides Bianca Belair to me. That would be the only one. They would have a tough time making sense of it, but it would be the only one that really would interest me at this point. And the longer they wait and don't really address it, the less invested I am. So I'm kind of getting bored of it already just because there's been no updates. But that's it for this SmackDown review. We'll see you guys for the Raw review. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.